So we move to Vampire Count's turn 3. He's keeping his Black Knights in the corner so my Pegasus Knights can't fly over. He charges the fast cav. I hold with them because had I fled, he would have gone to the flank of the Knights Errant. Knights Errant are locked in combat with only one ghoul and the Vargulf. And during his magic phase, he's going to raise up more ghouls, but whatever. Now over here, he took his Wraith unit and charged my general. And if my general can just hold there, then on my turn I can charge with the Knights Errant, and I really have the same situation I was hoping for anyway. So I can't complain too much. The problem is he's got the Crown of Commandment giving them weapon skill 6. They're 3 attacks each, strength 5. He refuses a challenge with the Banshee, and so it's just a lot of attacks I have to withstand. Otherwise he maneuvers, as you can see. Yeah, so during the magic phase, the 1 ghoul got changed to 8 ghouls, which certainly makes it more difficult to win combat and get rid of all those guys so I can do something else with that unit. Now when we're done, luckily for me, the great thing was the Vargulf only killed one of my guys. And just through combat res, I popped, I don't think I did any wounds on him, but through combat res I popped 2 of each. So the Vargulf is dead, thanks in large part to the bowman having put 2 wounds on him in the first place. But yeah, so but we're still kind of locked there, which is bad. So after combat, my general couldn't hold up. They put 2 wounds on the Pegasus. I think they split their attacks between him and the Pegasus and didn't do any on him. But he failed his break test and ran, and they pursued and got a free charge into the Knights Errant. So the Knights Errant have enough combat res that if I can make some saves, they can hold those guys up. The problem is I don't have anybody that can come in and support them, because the only real options I have are my General and my Grail Knights, and I guess my BSB, but that's kind of risky. So Brett turn 3. Starting on the right, take my Pegasus Knights. They decide to pass their fear test this time, charge into the ghouls. I think odds are I should get 5 wounds, and he's starting with static 3. So if I get 5 wounds, I'm not going to knock them out, but I'm okay. The Black Knights can't really get in there and countercharge, I don't think. And, it's going to hold them up enough so they can't countercharge the Knights Errant. Knights Errant are still locked in combat with just a few ghouls. Towards the left, Knights Errant are still fighting. I decided to charge the BSB out of the Knights of the Realm and then charge the Questing Knights. And those 2, I want to take care of the zombies, get them off the table. And again, I'm not using my Grail Knights there because if he countercharges with his General's unit, I want to flee. I don't want to be messed up with them right now. So there's another look on the right-hand side of the board. I'm not sure what I'm trying to show there. Same thing again. And those stupid zombies actually killed a Questing Knight. Couldn't believe it. Over here, I should have done 5 wounds. I did 1, maybe 2 wounds, and got auto-broken by the ghouls. And my 3-die-6 roll for flee movement, I rolled like a 4, and lost my Pegasus Knights to those guys. So, oh, that was painful. And now they're not going to charge the flank of those Knights Errant, but the Black Knights certainly have a good chance of doing it. Especially if I kill all but 2 of those guys and open up for an easy flank charge by the Black Knights. So my right flank just took a huge, huge hit. Pegasus Knight's gone, and these Knights Errant are in a world of trouble. So on this side of the board, wiped out the zombies. I don't like losing that Questing Knight, but again, if his unit charges me, those guys are just all going to flee. And what I'm really looking for is a nice flank charge into the side of that unit. At some place where I don't have to fight his Killy Lord or his BS. Well, I don't really care about the BSB. And every turn I'm taking my Trebuchet and aiming it at his Lord, just trying to get lucky there. Maybe a scatter, take out the BSB, get that regen off that unit. So VC turn 4, he, the Knights Errant are still locked in with 2 of the ghouls, but that's enough. So he countercharges the Black Knights, countercharges with his skeletons with the Crown of Commandment Vampire, and I have no right flank at this point. He decides not to charge with his General's unit, which I think was probably a smart move. And Knights Errant are no more. The right flank is still no more. These knights errant, they're trying, they're holding up, they're making some saves, but yeah, it's tough. They don't have anything to do any wounds against those things, and they're 3 attacks, each strength 5, so they're having a hard time of it. So Brett turn 5. My general, he rallied on my last turn, and so he flew over here. I'd like to get him a flank charge into that Banshee unit. I'm trying to work my knights around his central unit so that I can get the charges that I want without just doing a frontal charge on them. Should have broken them this turn. They finally outnumbered my guys and forced an auto break, and the Knights Errant rolled insane courage. And that's huge because this is my turn. If he had broken me on my turn, on his turn he could have flank charged those Knights of the Realm, and it just would have been ugliness all over again. So huge luck there getting Snake Eyes with the Knights Errant. There's maybe just another look at the board. And during the magic phase, I said look at the board, that was in his turn, of course. You can see he's turning his Black Knights toward the center. He grew some zombies, which is saving his flank from my Grail Knights. And if I hit the zombies with my Grail Knights, and I should wipe them out. If I don't, they get flank charged by his general's unit. If I do, I have to overrun to get away from his general, and then I'll get flank charged by those other ghouls, which wouldn't be the end of the world. There's only 3 of them, but, you know, just be a hassle still. So on his turn, he finally killed the Knights Errant to a man. I think in the magic phase, he killed the Pegasus out from underneath my Lord. I'm actually okay with that. That actually gives me more freedom of movement now that I'm in the middle of things. I can charge 360. So, Brett turn 5. Do the same plan now as I did before with the Banshee unit. Charge my general into him, and then charge my men-at-arms into him for static combat res. Took my Grail Knights into the zombies, and really here I just had to... You know, now I think with the zombies, with that clip, I should have angled them a little bit, but whatever. I really didn't want to charge my units into the front of that, into this general's unit. And I mean, I took forever making the decision, and you know, they're saying, look, there's 20 minutes left before we run out of time, and I knew I was being that player that was taking too long to make a decision. And finally, I'm like, you know, I can back up and dance around, and probably at this point, I think it would be about a draw, or if I'm lucky, I might be slightly ahead in points. But it was just killing me to do that. I hate going for the draw, and I'm thinking if I just get a little lucky here, we can see what happens. So I took the Knights Errant, I took the Knights of the Realm, the BSB, and the Questing Knights all into the front of the Death Stars to see what we can do. And yeah, there's a closer look at that battle. Closer look there. That's before combat. At the end of combat, oh, missed it by 1. And now I'm going to get flank charged by those Black Knights. Popped all the rays, so he has the Banshee left, and she's down to 1 wound, but just not quite enough there. Now, for the Grail Knights made short work of the zombies. That wasn't hard. The Knights of the Realm, I had 9 Knights of the Realm, BSB, 4 Questing Knights, charging in the front of that unit, and I killed 0. None. Nada. And he slapped me around like nobody's business. Chased down the Knights of the Realm, didn't quite catch these guys, which is really saving me because if I can rally them by the end of the game, I've saved half points in the Questing Knights unit and half points on my BSB. But I was just kicking myself. I know better. I know better. You don't charge a Death Star in the front, and I get what I deserve. So VC's turn 6. He charges my BSB. I get away. Other than that, he charged in the flank with his Black Knights. My archers that were on the hill have rallied over here in the lower left-hand corner. He really can't get them. So we go to combat. He broke my men-at-arms, which I'm actually okay with because I think they have a decent chance of rallying. And so next turn, they'll be in combat with my Lord. So here's another look. My turn, I rally with Questing Knights. My BSB rallies, of course. I took the Trebuchet and landed it. I was aiming for his general's head, and it veered 2 inches and hit the BSB. And if you look at the right-hand side, that's what I killed. I killed 3 of those units, of the guys in the unit, and I actually got lucky and killed the BSB. So there's quite a few points there I got killing that guy. So now it's too little, too late. Now the unit doesn't have regen, but after they made 5 or 6 regen saves on that last charge of mine. But I did get some points killing that BSB guy. So we go over here. My general was unable to put the last wound on the Banshee, but he didn't break because he has the Grail Vow, so he's stuck in combat. I saved his points, and at the end of the game, that's where we're at. So we added up all the points, and what we do with this tournament is there's 20 points total, and you spread them out based on the the battle points. And he got 11, and I got 9. So it was almost a draw, but I really felt lucky for it to be that close with the way it felt like things were falling apart at the end. So we're one game into the tournament. I only got 9 points. The problem is I didn't get any of those stupid scenario points. So instead of 11, he actually got 13. So I only got 9. He got 13. And the scenario points again were kind of just a luck-based whatever. But anyway, first game, really a lot of fun, and we move on to game 2 of the tournament.